Namaskar, this is Akhilesh Bhargava. Welcome to Tit-Bits on Business and Finance with me. It was in September 2018 that ILFS collapsed, it went bust. The government then, in a swift move, superseded the board of directors of ILFS and appointed a new board headed by Uday Kotak with the mandate for the board to decide whether it can revive ILFS or it wants to close it down in a planned manner. It looks to us that ILFS is being closed down in a planned manner by the new board, and for that, it has been selling, it has been monetizing and encashing its assets part by part, and it has also been thus repaying the loans of ILFS part by part. ILFS involved public money of about 1,32,000 crores. A year later, it was the turn of DHFL, India's fourth largest housing finance company, with an exposure of bank loans of over 90,000 crores to go bust. This time, unlike in the case of ILFS, the Reserve Bank of India decided to refer DHFL to the NCLT under the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code to decide what to do with the company. NCLT had an option to either call for bids for takeover of the company and ensure its revival, or to put the company into liquidation. NCLT decided to call for bids. And right from the beginning, two players were the front runners in their bid to take over the company, Oaktree of USA and the Piramal group. They were the front runners and they continuously kept bidding. Yet another one who joined the game was the Adani group, and the Adani group had been attracted by the real estate assets of DHFL, and it put in a bid only to back out later on. While this bidding war was going on, particularly between Oaktree and Piramal, the jailed promoters of DHFL, which was the Vadhvans, they kept objecting. They said that the bids being received are extremely low, and Kapil Vadhvan even offered, saying that he had family assets of over 44,000 crores, and he said that these assets will be made available by him in order to repay the lenders of DHFL as long as the company is given back to him. Of course, the Vadhvans continue to be in jail as they are being investigated by criminal agencies like CBI, Enforcement Directorate, SFIO, etc. But the important point is, here was a promoter who was in jail, who was accused of major siphoning of money from his company, and who admitted that his family had 44,000 crores which could be offered in order to settle the dues of the company. The authorities and the lenders were not impressed with the offer made by Kapil Vadhvan, and the bidding continued, and so did the investigation that is going on against him by all the criminal agencies. A multi-round bidding took place. It was fierce, it was intense, it was belligerent. And the Piramal group, which turned out to be the ultimate winner, increased its offer from an initial first round offer of 15,000 crores to a final offer of 38,250 crores, ultimately bagging the company. After 6 rounds of bidding, and intense and fierce bidding mainly between the Piramal group and Oaktree, and in which Oaktree kept threatening all the time that it will take the committee of creditors to court in case its bid is not accepted. After all these 6 rounds, the offers were finally put to vote by the committee of creditors, which consists of all the major lenders to DHFL. And when the offers were put to vote, 94% of the vote came in favor of Piramal, by virtue of which DHFL will now be taken over by the Piramal group. Piramal has offered to pay 38,250 crores for taking over DHFL, of which 12,700 crores is going to be an upfront payment, and 19,500 crores will be paid by the Piramal group to the lenders by way of bonds over a period of 10 years. The offer that was made by Piramal got accepted by the Committee of Creditors for various reasons. The first, of course, is the amount that it offered was the highest, and so was the upfront payment that it has offered to pay, 12,700 crores. Its takeover plan was also easy, simple, and very clear. It intends to merge DHFL with its financial services company, and because of the synergy between the two entities, it is expected that the chances of revival of DHFL's housing finance business will be much better. Piramal has also accepted to ensure that none of the employees of DHFL lose their jobs. They will all be taken on the rolls of the new entity. Thus, it was a far simpler offer and a more valuable offer, and that moved the committee of creditors to accept it. The Oaktree offer was rejected for various reasons. Not only was the amount offered lesser than what Piramal offered, but it was also more complicated, not clear. There were a lot of loopholes and unanswered questions. And then Oaktree also made a false statement claiming that the bonds that it intends to issue to the lenders for takeover of DHFL are AAA rated, which they actually were not. Thus, Oaktree's offer was rejected. Oaktree says that its offer has been undervalued by the committee of creditors by 2,700 crores. It has not yet said that it intends to go to court, but according to us, it has always maintained that it intends to go to court in case its offer is not accepted. And now with this claim that its offer has been undervalued by 2,700 crores, we think that Oaktree is likely to go to court to challenge this particular decision of the committee of creditors. By the committee of creditors deciding, the matter is not over. The ball now shifts to the court of NCLT for its approval and also to the court of RBI for its approval, because it's the RBI which is the regulator of the housing finance and the NBFC sector. The battle for the takeover of DHFL was mainly fought between Oaktree and the Piramal group. Some observers say, and these are very unconfirmed sources, that Oaktree is a mere front which has been put up by the Vadwans, who are very eager to get their company back. And by doing that, they might be even able to dilute and put an end to all the criminal investigation cases that are going on against them. Thus, the belligerence, the blustering, and the threats that Oaktree kept giving all the time, that in case its bid is not accepted, it will go to court, is very understandable. If Oaktree is a front put up by the Vadwans, then its eagerness to take over DHFL at any cost seems to be very justified. After all, the Vadwans would like to get the company back and put an end to their troubles. But when it comes to takeover by the company by Piramal, to us, there are a number of questions that remain unanswered. Why do the Piramals want to take over a fraud and money laundering ridden company whose state of assets and liabilities is a big question mark? SEBI itself is on record saying that the authenticity and reliability of the financial statements of DHFL is completely unproven. Why should the Piramals want to take over such a company? The Piramals are spending a huge amount of money in order to take over a fraud-ridden company. It is ridden with frauds, it is ridden with litigation, it is ridden with crimes, it is neck deep in investigation, and most importantly, the authenticity of its financial statements is not known, reliability is not known, and because of that, it is not possible even to say with precision what are the assets and liabilities of DHFL in a very correct sense. The very correctness of the financial position of DHFL is not known, and despite that, why is it that the Piramal group wants to spend tens of thousands of crores in order to take over the company? To us, that remains a question mark. For many experts, the decision seems to be a winner's curse. They will take over the company for which they fiercely bid, but after that, they might just regret that they got the company, because what they are going to get is uncertainty. Uncertainty about assets, uncertainty about liabilities, uncertainty about where will the investigation and litigation end. And it might just make them spend far more money to justify their own decision. It's clearly on paper a winner's curse that they are getting into. Other experts say that the corporate lending division of the Piramal group, which has a huge exposure to real estate, has been facing a lot of NPAs. And what better a way to declare than NPAs than by taking over a fraud-ridden company like DHFL, and then later on putting all the mess that it is into it, blaming DHFL for it. Some experts say that could be the reason that the Piramals need an excuse in order to declare the NPAs which are sitting in their corporate finance portfolio, and DHFL of course becomes the best excuse. But even for that, we think a huge amount is being spent. Some experts say that Piramal is trying to take over the company because while it only has wholesale corporate lending and does not have a retail division, by takeover of DHFL, the Piramals get a retail finance division. We still think that the amount of money being spent is not justified. But then It's Piramal's money and they know better what they are doing. While there is a question mark on why the Piramal group is so keen to take over such a fraud-ridden company, the other question that we have is extremely interesting. The Vadhwans perhaps are the only promoter family in the country where there is a huge NPA, a huge default in payment of loans, and they admit that their family has got assets worth 44,000 crores which can be utilized for paying the creditors of the company. These 44,000 crores worth of assets to us are proceeds of crime. A report of Grant and Thornton had said that tens of thousands of crores of money have been siphoned away from DHFL by the promoters. And to us, there's a very direct nexus between the siphoning that would have taken place and the assets of about 44,000 crores that Vadhwans admit that their family has. These assets truly belong to the lenders of the company. They belong to the creditors of the company. Even at an offer of 38,250 crores, there is a massive haircut of 60%, which the lenders and creditors of DHFL are going to endure. If these assets of the Vadhwan family are pulled in, the sacrifice that the lenders and creditors are making will go down substantially. And to us, it is justified. Here's a family which was a promoter of a company and which admits that it has got giant assets available with it. And it had itself offered that these assets be used in order to repay creditors and lenders. And the question that we would have for the authorities is, would you not take over these assets in order to ensure that lenders and creditors are paid and the loss to them is minimized? To us, that would be the correct thing to do. The other issue is that the financial sector continues to remain shaky. We had an ILFS, we had a DHFL, we had a Yes Bank, we had a Lakshmi Vilas Bank. The line has continued. This is an experiment that the RBI is doing, trying to see whether a failed NBFC can be revived through the auspices of the NCLT. They may manage to do that because this time the Piramal group is there to take over the company for reasons best known to it. But then, every time, whenever a big NBFC fails, you're not going to get a worthy, capable buyer for it. And thus, even if this experiment succeeds, to us, it's not going to set a precedent to be able to follow. Because after all, if a company fails, you need another one to take it over. And the way the sector is, we really don't think there are enough entities which are going to be willing and able to take over these kind of bankrupt finance companies. And finally, the question that remains is, if the company gets taken over by the Piramal group, it should not be that the investigation against the Vadhwans for all the crimes that they have committed comes to an end or it is diluted. They have indulged in massive financial crimes in the company and they certainly need to be punished with all their accomplices. We think that is a point to be watched more than the takeover of the company finally. This is Akhilesh Bhargava signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.
Hello everyone. HW News English is 2 years old now. When we started this venture, we promised ourselves one thing, that news should remain free, because right to know is the right of every Indian. But to keep news free for everyone, we need support from some of you. And thus we have rolled out membership on our YouTube channel HW News English. But mind you, the membership is completely voluntary. The programs that we were doing earlier, that we are doing now, will continue to remain free. First level is a basic level. Here, you can be our supporter by paying Rs 199 per month. This membership gives you certain perks and benefits. The perks include unique badges in front of your name, a live show from Mr. Sujit Nair and from Mr. Akhilesh Bhargava per month for our members. You can also vote in some exclusive members-only polls. Now the second level is Super Supporter. Here you can be our Super Supporter by paying Rs 3,999 per month. This membership will include every perk that comes with basic level. Additionally, our Super Supporters can be a part of a WhatsApp group where we can have discussions and suggestions on various topics. The second perk includes a gift pack with our merchandise. And the third perk is a Google Meet with Mr. Sujit Nair, where you can join the meet and ask your questions to Mr. Nair face to face. Lastly, if you like, we would give a shout out to our super supporters in our programs. So, hope to see you soon with our badges.